This was the first one. So this is what we are making. And hello, Nikki. Hello, Patricia. You make me feel happy too. Hope we've all had a fabulous day, says Nikki, despite it being freezing here. It was cold, but the sun is out. Came out at school time. So I've made 2. And then I thought, let's make another. So I made 3. And then I thought, let's make a bigger one. So here's a bigger one. Now this one will take your phones. That's what I was thinking of. It's got room for your phone, and let me show you what's inside. Okay, so we open it up. It has a zip along the top. Now we have made something similar before. So we have a pocket, and then we have a space behind it as well. But this is done differently because I know I've never made one like this before. So as I went along after the prototype, I changed things a little bit because I thought we need to make that a little bit easier. It was the very last step, and I thought this is not easy. And I didn't want to hand sew that gap in the bottom. So I changed it, and now it works beautifully. Hello, Pauline. Hello, Christine. Michelle needs this. She's been asked to make a small pouch for the grandkids to put their cubs and scout badges in. This will be fantastic then. So wonderful. Love the larger one. Yes. So here's the smaller one. Similar zip and pocket, but boy, it is easy. It will be useful for all sorts of things. So 1, 2, 3, and the larger one. There we go. And tonight's one, I thought I need to do a different colour. I love my reds. I love my browns of late. Always love blues. What other colour can we use? I'm thinking green. So let's pop those aside because we've got quite a few of you here. Now I have only just popped the PDF into the group, so it's there for you. Yeah, the smaller ones are cute. Now let me tell you the size. The smaller ones are 5.5 by about 3.5. Okay. And the larger one is about 8 across by 4.5 down. So I'm not giving measurements because they are on the PDF, and this will at some point go onto YouTube. So what we need a zip that is longer than the actual width, just to make it easy so that we can trim it back to the size that we want. We need, now here's the fabric I've used. We need, we've got lots of bits of fluff on here. There we are. We need 2 pieces of fabric. Can you see there? One end is straight, the other end is curved. So at the curved end, you can do, let me pop it round like that. You could do a straight or a diagonal cut. So it went diagonally across and diagonally up again if you wanted to. You could do a cut that went up and down, so like a double scallop if you like, and then have 2 press studs if you wanted there. But what you will notice is you've got 2 pieces exactly the same, 2 outer fabrics, no lining, 2 pieces of fusible fleece. So you can use fusible fleece, which I have, and it gives it a little padded feel. Or you could use G700, which is the woven interfacing, or you could use H250, which is the papery fusible, one-sided fusible interfacing. So the choice is yours. With the interfacings, it still gives it a good, stable feel to it, but it's not as plush or, it's got a little bit of body to it. You can see there, it's got a thickness, but it's not too thick with the fusible fleece. So it'll be a little bit thinner, a little bit more slimline. All very good though. Hello, Pippa. Oh, Jane. Jane says, school run cancelled today, so busy sorting out sewing room. Also your stepdaughter's room, aka sewing room 2, number 2. I do a little bit every now and again. Hello, Pippa. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Jen. Oh, thank you, Pippa. I did actually get in the shower early afternoon before the school run because I thought my hair looks a bit rough, so it's just washed. That's why. Oh, what are you like, Pollyann? But you're here, so lovely to see you. And there's Joanna as well. Hello, Joanna, and Shirley. No worries at all. So, as I say, 2 pieces of fabric out of fabric, straight edge, and the other edge we've curved on both pieces, and then 2 pieces of fusible fleece or the interfacings. And then what we also need, this is for the pocket, is 2 pieces which look as though they're rectangular, but actually it is a straight edge top, and it comes down a little bit, and then I've done a diagonal cut, similarly on this side, straight down, and then a diagonal cut just a little bit, and you'll realise why once I start making it. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Jill. You need to watch a bit more as you've lost your sewing mojo. This might get you going again, Jill. Let's hope so. Right, so let's turn all the machines on and let's... Oh, dear. Right, let's go down to the machine. Oh, if I can touch the right button. Nope. Whoops. I got it upside down, probably. Oh, goodness gracious me. I'm just trying to touch. Go away. That's better. There I am. And here we are. Okay. So let's go down to the sewing machine with our bits and pieces. Okay. So what is the first thing we are going to do? We are going to take our one piece. Let's set the other piece aside for the moment. We are taking one piece and we are going to place our zipper pull down. Okay, and I'm just going to pin this in place so that I've got the excess zip here and the excess zip here too. Now, what I will show you, what I have done with previous, so we are going to do one just like this, where the zip goes from one edge to the other. What you could do, and this is what I'm doing tonight, what you could do is like this one, where I have put a little bit of the fabric at the ends. Can you see? So if we were going to do one like this, what I would do is trim the zip to the width of our Patsy pouch, and then I would put the fabric over the ends so that we've just got a little bit of the fabric here and here. But I'm just going to do it straightforward this evening, which is to, there we are, which is to just have the zip as it is, and the zipper pull is facing down. And now I'm going to get myself a piece of, what I tend to do actually, I've got a piece of pocket lining here, but what I tend to do, because I'm not very good with pins, they tend to stick in me, I'm just going to do a little holding, a few holding stitches, there we go, just to hold the zip in place there. And then I'm going to place my one pocket piece right side down, line that up, and make sure, now what I find I also do, I have it laying flat in front of me, and what looks like matching at this end isn't. So I like to lift that up and really make sure that that is lined up. So we've got that little bit of straight edge, and then it will match at the other end. If you don't, you have an excess at this end. So having done that, I could put another pin in, but I'm just going to start sewing. So I've got my stitch length at default of about 2.4, 2.5, and then I'm just going to stitch across here and keeping that pocket fabric as straight as we could. Oh, didn't quite get the pin out there. So I've stitched across. I'm now going to pull that piece back, and I'm just nail pressing the pocket fabric out of the way, and then I'm going to push the pocket fabric underneath. So underneath there, and then I'm just going to hold on to the zip and pull the outer fabric away, and I'll just finger press or nail press along there also. Now I'm going to top stitch, so I need to just turn that around, but as usual I like to just pull on the pocket piece underneath just to make sure that is pulled away, and then we're going to top stitch along here. So on the outer fabric along by the zip, so as straight as you can all the way across like that. So we now have a nice neat top stitched with our pocket piece right side facing this way. So having done that, what I'm going to do now, you can do this whichever way around you like, but I'm going to have my pocket piece with the right side facing up, and I'm going to place this underneath here, and I'm going to make sure, I'm going to flip it over and just make sure that that lines up with that edge, okay, like that. So it's lining up along with this edge here, and just for the moment I'm going to put a pin in there just to hold it. So make sure that is in line at that end. In fact, I'll put a pin at this end as well, because it can quite easily slip. So I'm going to pop that over like that, and then take my other outer piece and pop that right sides together, and this time lining up with this outer edge here, but the straight edge is with this outside top of the zip. Now it's probably easier to place it like that, and then similarly on this side, just bring that together, and I can see that is lined up. I've got my pin holding the lining, so I can now take that out and pop that back in. So that's holding that. I probably will take this bit out in a minute, but I've got everything lined up. The zip is lined up with the pocket lining underneath, and then this other main outer piece is on the top and aligned. So again, we'll go from the side, and as I say, I'm just making sure that's still lined up, and then just stitch across again, and that's still all lined up, which is exactly what we want. Take that pin out and pull that away. So now we can open this up, pull that away from the zip, nail press there, and then we can flip it over and pull the pocket down and nail press along there. So it's all pulled away from the zip, and you can just see the zip there. So we do need to top stitch. So let's just pull that down, hold on to it, flip it over, and take it over to the needle again. So we're just going to do that top stitch along the edge again, like so. And I'm keeping hold of the pocket underneath so that it doesn't shift. Okay, so what it looks like now, we've got two nice top stitched, and we've got nice pocket pieces here. Now what we need to do before we do anything else is actually join these pocket pieces. So we're going to pull them together, and what we can do is pop our zip down. Oh no, let's pop our zip up. Doesn't really matter which way. And we're going to line up the pocket piece here. And I am going to give myself a pin down here to start off with. And then I'm just going to pull this together And what we'll notice is it's a straight edge here before it goes diagonally. So just make sure that lines up. We're not going to trim that off yet, but we will trim that off in a minute. And then we can pop that under the machine. So just through the pocket pieces, just make sure that is lined up there, under the machine, and the pocket edges are there. Let's just pull that away a little bit. That's it. So I'm not actually going through the zip, but I'll reverse there, and I'm coming down to this bottom edge, and I'm going to stop 1/4 inch before the edge, and then I'm going to turn that, keep this bottom edge aligned, and I'm just going to stitch probably about 1 inch or so and reverse. And then I'm going to do exactly the same again here. So let's just line that up at this end, scoot that across, and about 1 inch from the edge, we'll just reverse and go to the corner, and then align this edge here, and we'll stitch up to where the zip is there, and just there. Oops, I know what no, I can do that now. Okay, so we've got our pocket piece with a gap in the bottom of the pocket lining. Now what we're going to do is turn it so that we've got wrong sides together, like so. Let's turn it this way. And what we're looking at now is the top of the zip being right at the top. So it's right on my edge there. And when you do that and open it up, you can see the pocket lining sits beautifully in there, and it comes in just that little bit. So we are going to make sure that the zip is right on the top edge, but also that this curved edge aligns perfectly. So again, we are going to just temporarily pop pins in there just to hold it, and then we are going to measure 3 inches. So I will say that 3 inches, that's right. So we'll do 3 inches from either, it really doesn't matter, either from that top zip coil or from the top of the outer fabric there. So let me line up. I'm just lining up that on the top there. And you can also check that it lines up straight here. So let's just like that. And then we're going to put a pin down here and a pin at this other side also. And then we can take, so we've got 3 inches and it's right along the top of that zip coil. So let's just pop our pin in because we're using it as a hinge. Right, so pop that in so the pin is perpendicular to the edge, but what we would say, yeah, so like we would normally pop things together. And then we can take these pins at the bottom out because we need to work with the top flap here. So we've got 2 pieces. There's our bottom one, here's our top. We're just taking the top and we're going to fold this up like that as far as it will go, with the pins being our hinge. And once we've done that, I'm going to put a binding clip just there to hold it, and a binding clip there. And then I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to pull the other side up to meet this edge here. And it just should fold from the pin and everything match up. So you just need to pull it a little bit if it doesn't quite. That's lining up now. So then we can take out of our clip and reposition, and then swivel that round. Make sure this is aligned up here. That's it. Let's just see if I've got enough clips there. That's it. Let's put a clip up here and then make sure this one is aligned also. So I've got my everything on there. I've got the zip in here. Now what we do need to do at this point is, let's just take that off. We need to open up our zip. So at the minute, the zip pull is here, but we want the zip pull to be inside. We want that to be in there. So make sure that still lines up like so, but our zip is open, and we want that to be like that. And I've just got one more here. There we go. So we'll trim this in a moment, but we're going to now stitch from this bottom folded edge all the way around the curve to the opposite side. And I'm telling you again, this is easy, as you can see. So when we begin, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we'll reverse. So I'll take that clip off. I'm holding it down with my fingers, and I'm going to go over there. All this curved edge is all aligned beautifully. And if you go at a nice smooth speed, you can get a nice smooth curve around there. That's still all nicely aligned. And around we go again. I'm just keeping the edge of the right side of my foot. And then we'll take that one off because we're going to stitch over there. We can take that one off and we'll take that pin out and we'll stitch down to the bottom. And we'll reverse the bottom. Okay. So that's as hard as it gets. Clip that off. When you're clipping it off, just make sure we've got no zip pull. Okay. So the only thing I would do now, you can either clip into all of this curve like this, okay, or use pinking shears, or you know what I like to do. I like to trim to about 1/8 of an inch all the way around the curve. I don't round the bottom edges, so I just go around the curve like that. Get that all off there. So it's all nice and smooth. So when we look at the bottom where the folds are, we have a gap. Through the gap, we've got the zip open as well. So we can put our finger in there, push this down. This is the curved edge, and we are going to pull it all the way through the zip and the open pocket. Okay, so there we are. It's come through the zip there, and then we can push all of it through the pocket. Okay, let's just keep pushing and pulling. So this is where we're still pulling through the pocket. So if you want to open the zip a little bit more, it makes it even easier. So there is our pocket, but we do want to see, as I say, all of the outer fabric, and we just need to keep pushing and pulling because we've got the bottom of the zipped part and we've got the curvy edge of the pouch as well, the flap part. So where we have that gap in the pocket, we can poke our paintbrush, pen, whatever you like, just to push around the curve of our flap and also into the corners of our pouch. So let's just pull that out and we can push that one as well. And what is easier is because there is going to be our pocket, and we can just push into that corner. So, and then push this other side. We are going to take it out again because we need to close the gap in the lining. But that has pushed out really, really well. You will have noticed that my flowers are on sideways, you know, but hey ho. But then we are going to pull out our pocket lining like this. And what we will see is, let's just pull it out just a little bit further, because we are only stitching through the pocket lining. We can push that corner out like that. And similarly on this other side here, where we just sewed around the corner. Oh, it looks as though I've pulled that open as we were stitching, never mind. So I'll just, that's come apart. I should have reversed there, shouldn't I? But what I will do is I'll just fold this in, because we are going to stitch. So I had stitched down there and across there just a little bit. And what I should have done was reversed as I finished that end. So I'm not just going to leave it. I'm just going to put this tiny little bit under here and just stitch that back up again, because, you know, you need to do it properly. So let's just reverse a little bit so that it joins that seam again. And that should, there we are, that's come around the corner now. Just get that little bit of thread out of the way. And then we can turn the gap in. So I like to just fold that in 1/4 inch, run my finger or nails along that side, and similarly on this side and here. Now the bigger pouch is a lot easier to do because it is that much bigger. But if we just hold that and tuck those little threads in, there we go. And we can either use a pin there or a clip. Let's use a clip just to hold that together. And then this other end holds together really nicely. And I'm going to pop that under the machine. Just make sure those edges are aligning. And then we can see, I'll just push that in, line up those edges there and stitch across. I can take that clip off now, all the way to the other side and cut. Trim that off, trim that little bit off. No, that's on this side. There we go. And then always remember just giving that a little pull to make sure that that is all totally sealed, and it is. So now we can tuck that back in. I'll use my paintbrush there and here, and that tucks that into that corner. I probably like to feel with my fingers as well. There we are. And then we can just do this up, just pull that around, and there is your zipped pocket. Now what I want to do is just give that a press as well. So I also like to just top stitch around here. Now you can top stitch before. I'm not top stitching down here, purely around that flap. So when we pull this over, okay, what I'm going to do, you can see we need to just press this a little bit. So I am going to, what am I going to do? Let me get myself a pressing mat, and we'll turn the iron on, because having the fusible fleece inside the whole of the pouch, it just does need a little bit of steam as well. So we can pop it this way. So this is the part that is folding over. Let's have a look, see how much steam we can actually conjure up in here. There we are. So that's nice and hot. So just give that a nice steam around the edge and then on here as well. But you can see how nice and puffy that is. And then we'll give that a press there, and also inside. There we are. So that is nicely pressed now. And we're going to put the poppers on, the cam snaps. But what I'm going to do first of all is just fold this over. That's it, just pull that in and fold that and see, there we are. See where that's going to go. And then we're going to measure across here. So I look at a halfway point. So I'm going to, there we are. I've got that about 4. So I've got this here. The edge is there. There's 4. So I think around about 2. So I'm going to put a little mark there. But I'm going to poke a pin in there. Then I can lift that up, and where the pin goes into the bottom, I'm going to put a little mark where that pin is there. That way, there we are, that way I'm going to be able to line that up. Now what I'm also going to look at, because when I top stitch, we can't get, because of the bulk of the zip at each side, it's hard to get your foot very far down here. So if we just have a look, and I'm going to put a pin right at that top edge, there and there. And I want to get, when I do my top stitch, which I'll do my top stitching now. So you can either do it from this side or from this side. And this is where you will see that it is not the easiest to get all. So can you see my foot won't go right all the way on top of that bulk. So where I've got the pin, that's where I am going to start with a bit of top stitching. So I can take that pin out. I'm just going to see if I can grab that bit of thread, because if you grab the thread, you're not going to get a nasty mess. And I'll just reverse there as well. And then I'm just going to top stitch all the way around the edge, nice and slowly, so that we get a nice consistent row of stitching at the same distance from the edge. And then there we are, that's where my pin was. So I'll just do a couple of stitches backwards, and then we can cut that off. And there is my thread from the start. So clip that, and then on the other side, oh, that's gone in nicely. We have got a little bit there. So we've got nice top stitching on the top, on the outer as well. So having done that, I now want to pop my cam snap in. Cam snap there, and my cutter. And also, we're going to have, I think I've got a cream zip, so I'm going to have a cream. Now I like to use, you can either use a seam ripper to make a little hole, but because I've got this gadget, I'm going to cut myself a little hole and turn that a little bit. And then on this one, make sure you open up the zip to be able to cut yourself or punch yourself a hole down here, and it's just through the outer and the pocket. So let's just move that around and pop that over. So there we are. So cream cam snap. So let's just get our innie outie buttons. Oh, that's correct. Right. So easy with our prim pliers. We'll do the flap first. So this is the outside of the flap. Let's pop our button on there, and then we'll put our outie on the top. Now I've got my thumb and finger around that, and I've got the white cap, which is going to take the button part, and then just make sure that's correct. That's it. And that's all held in place. Give that a squeeze. And then down here, we need the button part on the inside. So let's just find that little hole there. Oops, there it is. So let's just pop through the hole there. So I'm holding it with my finger in there so that it's not going anywhere. And then I'm going to put my innie on there. So the cup part here is going on the inside. As soon as I've got the button in there, I can flip it over, pop the silicone part in there, and then it's nice and neat. You can just see that little button in there. But let's close up that zip, fold it over, press it in, and there is our little pouch with the pocket for popping your notes in or cards, your zip pocket for whatever else you like, and the popper to close it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's just see. Here we go again. Right, let's see. Jill's done 4 pairs today. Pairs of, let's have a look. Right. So let's just see. I'll just scroll back a little bit. It's like magic, says Pippa. No idea what's going on. Then bam, there's a pouch just like that. It just makes it so neat. So you're only actually, oh, there's Jan. Hello, Jan. Hello, Jack. Oh, traffic's horrendous everywhere, isn't it? Hello, Alison. Hello, Tony. Hello, Helen. Hello, Leslie, Beverly. Oh, my goodness, I missed a load of you there. And Joanna. Oh, well, lovely to see you all. So, oh, Wendy's been shortening trousers. Oh, my goodness. That's one of the tasks I can do, and I do. And shortening trousers, it's a case of, let's do it right now. Because if somebody says to me, oh, it won't matter till next week, I leave it. And all the while it's in the back of my mind, must do those trousers. And so if somebody wants them done, I'd rather say, sit down and have a cuppa, I'll do them now. And they can walk out with them, you know. But, yeah, one of those things that I'm not keen on. Oh, there's Sue, only just managed to join. Oh, never mind. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Wendy will watch back later. Yes, it's worth watching back. The PDF is in the files. So you will be able to have a look from there. When you're reading through the instructions, look at the pictures to go along with the words, because it really makes it quite clear. If you just read the words and think, I don't know, but read the words, look at the picture, and you'll see exactly what it relates to. So, oh, Jill's done 4 pairs of trousers today. Oh, my goodness. Pippa says another fabulous one. Jolly good. Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Heather. Marilyn, how do you think of all these sewing? Well, they're all a little bit similar, but I could choose different shapes. I mean, when I did my very first one, the blue one, which is here, so this one, I was using some of this fabric for the Norma bag. So I got a little bit left over, there was a piece, not off the bolt, there was just a piece. And so I cut what I thought, this is about a ruler's width. And the whole width of it, which is basically, or the length of it, which is basically down here and up, because it goes all around, doesn't it? So it goes along here, over the top and round. And this, yes, so 2 pieces like that. I just got the size out which would get out the fabric. And then with the folding of it, I just folded it a bit and thought, yeah, that's the measurement we'll do. And basically that's how it works. But I mean, I'm lucky that my mind works like that. Not everybody can do that, but a lot of you can. But it's a little bit about playing. So, and it comes. And it does look neat, doesn't it? Yes. Oh, thank you, Jeeta. Leslie enjoyed jolly good. And Pauline and Mavis and Jack and Nikki and Sue and Alison and Margaret. Sharon, it is easy. That's why I make it look easy. As I say, on the original one, you know, with my pocket pieces where I say there is a diagram in there. It's not a template, but it just shows you how to cut it and what to trim it to. I had just a rectangular shape, and therefore when I added the pocket, the sides of the pocket in here were then in the side seam, and it was a devil of a job to stitch the gap in the lining, right? And I thought, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. We need to be easy. We need to be Trisha easy. So I thought to myself, if I trim in, then all of those side edges won't be in the seam allowance, and therefore it'll be a bit freer, which is why it was so much easier to then close the pocket, close the gap in the pocket. And I don't think we've done that for a long time, of turning something through the gap in the pocket. It's usually the gap in one of the side seams. I don't usually close a gap or leave a gap on a curved edge because it's very difficult to get a nice neat edge. But how neat is that? And it just works. And I didn't do anything special. All I did was trim back that seam allowance to about 1/8 of an inch. And it just means that then when you push it all out, it gives you a lovely neat curve rather than, the other thing was a stitch length, short stitch length going around a curve, because it does give you that really smooth curve. Whereas if you had longer stitches, it really would be little straight edges joining up. And sometimes if it wiggles a bit, it really does show. But there we go. Oh, Michelle, it would be ideal for your little people. Jolly good. I'm glad. Marion says, very handy. Yes. Oh, hello, Patricia. Well, you know you can always watch it later, can't you? Oh, Janet, yes. I hope you carry on having a wonderful evening as well. Thank you, Jane. And thank you, Beverly and Sue and Amanda. And still lots of happy birthdays. And thank you, Liz. No, Gita, no. I just love doing it. I mean, why wouldn't you? How would you know that I enjoy doing it when I have 1, 2, 3, 4 now, don't I? I just love it. I just love it. So, actually, it's made me think. So, as I've made 4 of these, what do I do with them all? I give them to school for them to sell for school funds, or I do them as little prizes for school things as well, or, I give them away as we go. But what I have been doing is, what is the time? Are we doing okay? Oh, we're not bad at all. So I have decided, because people have been saying, why don't you have a sample sale? So Thursday, we will have some fabrics for sale, but I will have, probably not these, but I will have some blasts from the past, bags, purses, pouches, all sorts, for sale at bargain prices as usual, because I have tubs and tubs of samples. So I thought it's about time that we moved a few on so that people can make full use of them rather than just sitting in a tub gathering dust. Well, not dust, but they're just sitting there. Oh, hello, Sandra. Sandra hopes we're all well. I think we are. And thank you, Judith. Okay, so grab yourself a bit of fabric, either tonight or tomorrow. Oh, I'm trying to press this properly in here. That's it. And there's the bigger one. Love this fabric. Love it. It's probably my favourite one. Mind you, I do like this as well. Anyhow, that's not what it's all about. I just keep using fabrics after fabrics because I love using them. And then you're always pleased with, if you use fabrics that you love, you're pleased with the outcome. So I am going to sign off now. I was really looking forward to this all day when I love making something. I do have another little pouch in the office. Well, what is it? No, it's more of a wallet because it will have little pockets, slip pockets for credit cards, and there's going to be a zip in it, and there's going to be, it folds and folds. So that will be coming in the next couple of weeks, I think. And also I will be doing an armchair hold all. No, what do we call it? A handy. So it's something to hold all your sewing implements while you're sitting on the sofa stitching. And I'm sort of designing that at the moment. I've got some pictures, but I haven't started to make it, but I will be doing that. So lots to think about. Oh, well done, Jeeta. Just glance down there. And Jeeta has just reminded me, it is on Thursday, end of the month, 30th of April. So it is the monthly giveaway at 6 o'clock before we do the fabric and sample sale. So monthly giveaway at 6 on Thursday on the So Totally Trisha page. And that means all your downloads, all the PDFs in the group will be disappearing on Friday morning. So pop into the group. You're in there now. See if you can make sure you have all the downloads downloaded, printed, saved, whatever you do, because they are about to disappear. Okay, so take care of yourselves. Have a lovely evening. And you, Janet, with your birthday. Excuse me, I need a drink of water. And take care. And I'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.